Today, we take a look at these two epic puzzle sticker mods and talk about how their unique designs make them a lot more interesting to solve. They have a lot of identical pieces, centers that have to face a certain way, and even blank pieces. All that in this episode of Custom Cuber. These are Sash Cubes. The name comes from the two overlapping bands of color that are wrapped around the cubes, similar to how a sash is usually worn. We can see the pattern better by wrapping the strip of paper around the cube while following the path of one color. See how the puzzle now looks like it's wearing a sash? Both cubes follow the same basic layout but with opposite colors and with different shape configurations. For this version, I used small triangles around the cube. For version 2, I used different sizes of squares and triangles. The slight changes in the shapes affect the overall solve of the puzzle. Stick around to the end of the video for a quick scramble and solve. A key part of this layout is the blank section. These parts are technically supposed to be blank, unstickered areas, but I decided to still add black stickers to them just to make the design consistent both visually and in terms of how the pieces feel. There are only two of these blank edges in this puzzle, and they are very important in solving the puzzle once it's scrambled. They show the solver how the centers should be oriented. You can learn more about center orientation by checking out the video on the top right. Let me show you what I mean by doing a quick scramble. To solve this, of course, we are looking for the correct orientation of the top center piece as well as the center pieces on the four sides. For example, we know this edge probably goes here. But how should this center be oriented? Should it be like this? Or like this? This is why we need the blank pieces to guide us, because their unique placement in the cube helps us see which way the centers are facing. For example, if I place this blank edge with the top center, I get a clue for how I should orient this other center piece. This doesn't mean that we can't make mistakes with placing the correct edges and corners during the solve though. A lot of the pieces or cubies in this puzzle are identical, so they can be accidentally placed in locations where they don't belong, a scenario that can lead to a permutation that prevents the solver from completing the whole cube. For this other version, this is not much of a problem. It seems like this cube has a lot of identical pieces, but the direction that the triangles face actually help the solver determine which pieces go where. You can see how these two edges are almost identical except for the direction that the triangles are facing. This doesn't mean that this cube does not have completely identical pieces. For example, this same edge has its exact copy here. But since the solver has to deal with only half the number of identical pieces, it's less likely to make mistakes with this version. Now it's time to scramble this. I think the scrambled state of this version looks cooler than that of the other one, but what do you think? Thanks for checking out the Sash Cubes. This version is actually one of my favorites from my collection because of the many factors that affect the overall solve of the puzzle. Plus, I think it looks really cool. I'm thinking of experimenting with versions that use the same layout but maybe with more colors. Would you be interested in seeing that? I hope to hear your thoughts in the comments below and enjoy the rest of the solve up to the end of the video. See you next time!